Linda, Carmela, Sibio.
Okay, so this is Linda, Carmela, Sibio.
Linda.
Linda. Linda, where are you from, Linda?
I'm originally from Boomer, West Virginia.
Boomer, West Virginia. Wow, that's a mighty name for Boomer, West Virginia.
Yeah.
What's your ethnicity?
My father was full-blooded Italian, born in Italy, and my mother was Irish.
That's a great mix. Well, you just have such an amazing presence out there on the stage. I mean, you come out and you're just like, your vocal cords and your face and everything. I mean, that's just amazing. Did you train for this, or is this something that you've always had a gift for, or what do you think?
Well, I would like to say that I just have a gift for it.
Okay.
But I studied 4 years with Rachel Rosenthal and 2 years with Aaron Morris in theater.
Okay, so around here or just privately? Or?
In Hollywood.
In Hollywood. Cool. And so where are we today? Can you tell us a little bit about the theater itself?
My theater?
Is this your theater?
Oh, this theater.
This theater.
The Bootleg Theater,
yeah.
which used to be a bra factory.
Yeah, that's an interesting history. Do you want to go into that a little bit?
I don't really know much about it, except for that it's a really amazing building. It used to be a factory and has really high ceilings. And it's also used to be called the Evidence Room. And the Evidence Room is a very, very hip and cool theater in Los Angeles. And they show a lot of really avant-garde stuff, and Kirk Wilson booked this in here, and he just thought it was a really great idea and pursued it. And that's the kind of theaters I like, the kind that book artists, you know, and give them a chance and give them support.
Give them the support they need.
Right.
Do you have a grant for this, or is this you still call this a fundraiser? What's going on?
Oh, okay. The fundraiser is for my theatrical ensemble called the Crack Days, which is a group of mentally disabled adults and children who work together. And
are they mentally? Does that mean emotionally disabled? Are they severe, low?
Well, there's schizophrenics, bipolar, OCD, some Down syndrome people. You know, basic depression.
Okay. Alright, so mixed bag of everything.
Yeah, mixed bag.
And you are one of those things, correct?
Yes, I'm schizophrenic myself. Okay. That's why I've worked with mentally disabled people since 1985, doing avant-garde productions. I helped start the Los Angeles Poverty Department, although I didn't get any credit for it. And but I had a group in Los Angeles called the Operation Hammer for
Operation what?
Operation Hammer.
Okay.
For about 8 years. I had that group.
And this was a mentally disabled
group.
And you were.
And they were people from Skid Row.
Okay. And you directed them. You were artistic director.
Yeah,
wow.
They were fabulous. They were fabulous.
I'm sorry. What's your goal for mentally disabled? Do you have like a mission or?
Well, ultimately, I would like the world to know more about the art of the mentally disabled. Their perceptions are different, and they oftentimes don't get shown in the art world because of stigmas and things like that.
Bias.
And their perceptions are really totally different than other people's perceptions. And that's why I find it interesting.
Right. And you have like a real relationship to that, being mentally disabled yourself.
Yes, right. My perceptions are different, and a lot of people, I have a hard time marketing my work because it's different. It's really different and unusual.
It appears to be similar to a lot of the early performance art, 60s and 70s feminist performance art. So
right.
If we didn't know, we might not ever know if you didn't tell us, maybe.
Yeah, that's true, because I've been an artist my whole life, since I was about 11 years old. And I've learned the language of art. And that's something that other mentally disabled people, they don't have that.
The language of art. You mean like art
right.
history?
They don't have that career or whatever to help them along.
Okay.
And that's
the
why,
validation
right.
or
the structure.
Okay.
The structure that art gives you in your life.
Right.
And it makes you more stable. And even though I've had a very difficult life and I'm very unstable in a lot of ways, I am very organized with my art and very professional.
Okay. Yeah, so that's something that you weren't quite sure about in the performance. Is like, is this person going to ever come back and be just like a regular, that you're so deep into your process, it's like, I'm wondering, like, is this her? Is this three different people? Is this, there was all these questions that came up for me, like, is this her being schizophrenic? Is this her being an artist? Like, what's real? It does sort of tend to make the mind wander and think about all those issues,
Right.
And especially if you've ever had any experience with that, I had to kind of go into my own experience and see like, oh yeah, I remember how this feels and how that's related, how confusing that whole thing is, and but it is different than being just being art, sitting with your paper, correct? Or being schizophrenic and having an episode is different from doing a performance piece. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Being schizophrenic and having an episode is different than performance. Yes, it is, because in performance you digest the hallucinations or the delusions or whatever, and you make art out of them, and so then you overcome the psychosis.
Okay.
Okay, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. You get beyond the psychotic states, and you're able to make art.
Right. So you can pull in and out of it based on experiences that you've had, but you're not actually in the psychotic state.
Oh, that's not true.
No. I don't know.
Okay, I am in the psychotic state in a controlled way. Okay, I do have hallucinatory things when I perform and when I make art. I am living in the hallucination sometimes, but it's the activity that carries you through it.
Right.
And that's what I try to teach my students, is the activity can carry them through the psychosis or the psychotic states.
Right.
And
And those are all just things that's like unnameable. You know what I'm saying? Like I could name it, being in a trance state, or I could name it, having a medical emergency, or I could name it having a spiritual awakening. Those are all. Or I could say it's performance art.
I like the spiritual awakening part, because in some cultures, schizophrenics are considered to be seers and mystics and things like that. I don't know if you've ever heard that. Yeah, but I consider myself to be somewhat of a seer, or someone who listens to different realities and different worlds and goes beyond the normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I do it with control. Then
Right. So you're able to go and come back.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So there's not that much difference between a shamanic trance or a visionary state, someone going on a purposeful journey, and the state that you might get into before you do a performance piece.
Right, exactly. I get into a trance. I get into a very primal state, and I'm able to capture that and let it go through my body and use that structure that I built for the performance. The lines that I wrote and the video that you make or whatever.
Yeah, it's very visual what you do. I mean, it's a whole, synergy between what you're seeing and what you're experiencing emotionally.